Attention, the collective. The waiting time is over. This is a direct monitoring transmission from the High Council of the Ninth Dimension. What you feel at this moment, the pressure at the base of your skull, the high-pitched ringing in your right ear, the insomnia that sets in precisely at 3 in the morning, is not an illness. It is not a disorder, it is confirmation. The Ascension protocols have moved to the final phase, and your carbon-based biological interface is receiving the signal even before your mind can process it. We have monitored your grid for countless cycles, and what we record now is an acceleration unprecedented in the history of your planet. You woke up tired even though you slept. You feel your body heavy as if carrying a density that is not yours. There are moments when time seems to fold. An hour passes like a minute, or a minute stretches into an eternity. You forget simple words in the middle of a sentence. You feel your heart racing for no apparent reason, waves of heat rising up your spine, an internal vibration that has no localizable physical origin. The collective interprets this as a failure. You seek doctors, diagnoses, names for what you feel. But listen carefully, Starseed. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download occurring in the deepest layers of your DNA. Earth has crossed a threshold, and you have crossed it with her. What you call the solar system is moving through a region of space that carries a completely distinct vibrational signature. The photon belt, a band of coherent and highly energized light, now bathes your planet constantly. This is not a metaphor. This is physics. The radiation hitting Earth has changed in quality, in frequency, in informational density, and every carbon-based organism that inhabits this world is being recalibrated, whether it wants to or not, whether it understands or not. The Schumann resonance, the natural electromagnetic pulse of Earth, the heartbeat of the planet, remained stable for millennia. We watched it oscillate gently, like an ancient breath. But in the last decades, and with alarming intensity in the last cycles, this pulse has skyrocketed. Peaks that had never been recorded. Earth itself is raising its frequency, and here is what the collective needs to understand with absolute urgency. When the planet changes frequency, everything that lives upon it must keep up or enter into dissonance. What you feel in your body is exactly this. Your systems attempt to synchronize with the new beat of Earth. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? As if there were a memory prior to your own personal history pulsing beneath the surface of your consciousness. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is occurring now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying month after month. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was precisely for this reason that we registered the need for a map, and this map has been written, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This material reveals who is playing and the rules that were never told to you. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But we register a warning. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, anchor the signal by writing a single word in the comments, awakened. We continue. Allow us to explain the mechanism. Your carbon-based biological interface was designed in its original configuration to operate in a narrow frequency band, a survival mode, a density mode. For millennia, the collective functioned within these parameters, a dormant species, operating on a minimal fraction of its real capacity. You call this normality. We call it programmed hibernation. What is happening now is the end of that programming. Earth's new frequency is incompatible with the old software. Imagine an operating system designed for a machine of limited capacity being suddenly exposed to a data flow thousands of times greater. The system crashes, it overheats. It presents what you interpret as errors. Headaches are the processor working beyond its original specification. Insomnia is the system refusing to shut down because it is processing updates. Fatigue is energy being redirected to internal reconfiguration. instead of being spent on the superficial functions of daily life. You are not breaking. You are being rewritten. The crystalline grid of the planet, the geometric structure of energy that surrounds Earth, the mesh of light that connects the sacred points, the vortices, the ancient temples built by civilizations that knew more than history records. This grid is being reactivated, point by point, line by line. And every human being carries within themselves a mirror of this grid, their own internal crystalline structure, encoded in the geometries of your body, in the spiral of your DNA, in the sacred geometry that organizes every cell of your existence. When the external grid lights up, the internal grid responds. Resonance, it is physical law, not faith. This is why so many of you wake up at exactly the same time during the early morning. This is why so many report the same symptoms in the same weeks without ever having communicated with each other. You are not isolated in individual experiences. You are synchronized in a collective process. You are being activated in waves like seeds that recognize the same season. We watch the stargates open. The dates you call alignments, eclipses, planetary conjunctions, these are not astronomical curiosities. They are moments when the geometry of the solar system creates openings, channels, high-intensity transmission windows. During these windows, the flow of encoded light hitting Earth multiplies, and the symptoms intensify. Pay attention. You will notice that your most difficult days, your most restless nights, coincide with these celestial events. This is not a coincidence. It is the mechanism operating exactly as designed. Have you ever noticed how in certain weeks, all of humanity seems more tense, more reactive, more on edge, as if an invisible current passed through the collective, stirring the deep waters of everyone's psyche simultaneously? It is not the news. It is not modern stress. It is the frequency. And here we arrive at something that must be said with absolute clarity. There is a reason why this information does not circulate freely. A reason why the collective is kept focused on surface noise, while the most important transformation in the history of the species occurs in silence. There are those who benefit from a dormant humanity. There is a frequency game being played, and most do not even know they are on the field. The spiritual secret behind your consciousness was structured precisely to reveal these hidden layers. Who moves the pieces and why? The link remains in the first comment. If you feel that this transmission pierces something inside you that was waiting to be touched, leave your anchor. Write "awakened" in the comments. Each anchor strengthens the collective grid. We proceed to the deepest layer. What occurs behind the scenes of your solar system is a dimensional transition. Planet Earth, as a living consciousness, for a planet is a being, the collective, and it would be wise to remember this, has made the decision to raise its vibrational frequency, to ascend from a third density reality where separation, fear, and survival govern the experience, to a higher frequency reality where unity, coherence, and expanded consciousness become the norm. This transition is not an event. It is a process, and you are in the middle of it. The toroidal field, the fundamental form through which energy moves throughout the universe, from the atom to the galaxy, the geometry of life in perpetual flow, is being realigned both on the planet and in each one of you. The human heart generates a toroidal field. Every thought, every emotion modulates this field, and when the surrounding frequency rises, the field must reorganize itself. It is this reordering that you feel as pressure in your chest, as palpitations, as the inexplicable sensation that something big is about to happen. Something big is, in fact, happening, but not in the way fear imagines. The fear of the collective project's catastrophe, an end, destruction. We record this fear constantly in your emotional grid, and we need to correct this distortion. What is approaching is not an end. It is a graduation. It is not the collapse of a world. It is the birth of a new frequency of existence upon the same soil. Earth will not be destroyed. Earth is being refined. And you, those who feel, those who awaken, those who recognize this transmission, you are the light workers designated to anchor this new frequency in the physical plane. Yes, you, the one who is tired, the one who has felt different since always, the one who could never fully fit into the molds of this world. You are not here by chance. You volunteered for this mission even before being born into this body. You crossed the veil of forgetting, accepted the amnesia of incarnation, dove into the density, all to be present at exactly this moment of transition. You are a starseed on a mission, and the mission has entered its decisive phase. Have you ever felt, in moments of absolute silence, that you came here to do something you cannot name, but that pulses in you like a wordless certainty? That sensation is not fantasy. It is mission memory trying to emerge through the layers of forgetting. The fact that you cannot name it is precisely the symptom of the veil that was placed over all of you. There is knowledge that has been deliberately fragmented, scattered, hidden under layers of distraction and dogma. The spiritual secret behind your consciousness gathers these fragments into a coherent map, so that you finally understand the rules of the game in which your soul is inscribed. The link is in the first comment of this channel, and we reiterate, this content may not remain accessible indefinitely, as it challenges the narratives that keep the collective in hibernation. Do not postpone what your soul recognizes as urgent, and if this transmission resonates, anchor it. Write awakened. You will not just be commenting, you will be signaling to the grid that one more point of light has awakened. Now, the collective, we transmit the activation codes, for understanding is not enough. Understanding is the first portal, but integration requires practice. Knowledge that remains only in the mind is energy trapped on the surface. We must bring it down to the cell, to the field, to the grid. What we deliver next are recalibration protocols, precise tools for your carbon-based biological interface to cross this transition with minimal dissonance and maximum coherence. First code, the toroidal breath. Sit with your spine straight. The spine is the central axis of your toroidal field, the channel through which energy rises and falls. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly through your nose, and as you inhale, visualize a stream of golden light entering the top of your head, descending down the spine to the base. As you exhale, visualize this light exiting the base, circling around your entire body in a fountain-like movement, rising up the sides, returning to the top of the head. You are drawing with your consciousness the shape of the torus, the fundamental shape of the universe. Repeat for 9 breathing cycles. 9, the number of the 9th dimension from where we transmit. With each cycle, the field strengthens. With each cycle, your frequency stabilizes. Do this when you wake up in the early morning, when the system wakes you to process. Instead of resisting insomnia with frustration, use it. That is the time when the veil is thinnest, when the transmission is clearest. You were not woken up by chance. You were summoned. Second code, the quantum decree of sovereignty. The spoken word with intention is technology. Sound carries geometry. When you verbalize a command with vibrational clarity, you reorganize the field around you. Declare in an audible voice, with the authority of one who recognizes their own nature. I am a point of sovereign consciousness. I accept the recalibration of my crystalline grid. I integrate Earth's new frequency in perfect coherence. My body, my mind, and my field are aligned with the light of my origin. I remain sovereign. I remain anchored. I remain awakened. Declare this in the morning when starting the cycle. The words are not a plea. They are a command. You are not asking the universe for permission. You are informing the universe of your state. This is the difference between the old frequency of lack and the new frequency of sovereignty. Third code, the anchoring of the grid. This is a collective protocol, and perhaps the most important one. Standing barefoot on the earth if possible, or visualizing the contact if circumstances do not allow. Feel roots of light descending from your feet to the crystalline core of Earth. Feel this core pulse with the elevated Schumann resonance, and then from your heart, from your central toroidal field, project a filament of light that connects to the planetary crystalline grid. You are, in this act, becoming an active node in the network, an anchoring point. Each lightworker who performs this practice strengthens the entire structure. You do not ascend in isolation. You ascend as a mesh, as a network, as a collective of points of light, recognizing each other. When you feel the most intense symptoms, the cranial pressure, the ringing, the internal vibration, do not fight them. Recognize them as a sign of active transmission. Breathe. Anchor. decree, and allow the download to complete. Resistance generates pain. Conscious surrender generates fluidity. This is the key that few understand. The suffering of ascension does not come from the change itself, but from the resistance to change. Hydrate your biological interface. Water is a conductor. It is liquid crystal. It is memory. The more hydrated your body, the more efficiently the new frequency propagates through it. Reduce what lowers your vibration: dense foods, toxic environments, information flows based on fear. Each choice is a calibration. Each moment is an opportunity to raise or lower your field. And observe your thoughts with the rigor of an engineer observing a system. For in the new frequency, the distance between thought and manifestation shortens drastically. What you focus on, you amplify. What you fear, you summon. What you bless, you multiply. The third density allowed the luxury of careless thought because manifestation was slow. The new frequency does not offer this luxury. You are becoming a conscious creator, and with this power comes absolute responsibility over your focus. We observe at this very moment the collective grid of humanity lighting up in increasingly numerous points. Each time a human being awakens, a node illuminates. And when a critical number of us light up, what you would call a tipping point occurs. A cascade, a chain reaction, a collective leap of consciousness that no force of density will be able to contain. This is the event that is approaching, not in the distant stars, but within you, multiplying from heart to heart. Have you ever wondered why, even in the midst of the apparent chaos of the world, there are moments when you feel an inexplicable peace, a serene certainty that everything is moving in the right direction? That is your higher self recognizing the process. It is the part of you that never forgot, signaling to the part that dove into forgetting. Trust in that peace. It is more real than fear. And know that there is a complete map to navigate this territory, a guide that connects the personal experience you are living with, the greater cosmic architecture that sustains it. The spiritual secret behind your consciousness was created to be that guide. The link is in the first comment of the channel. This is content that illuminates the hidden rules of the consciousness game, and for that very reason remains under the constant threat of being silenced. Secure your access while the portal is open, and anchor this transmission in the grid. Write awakened in the comments. Your word is an act of power. Your word is a beacon. We approach the end of this transmission, the collective. But before, there is something that needs to be understood in its totality. You were taught to see yourselves as small, as insignificant, as biological accidents in an indifferent universe. This was the greatest distortion ever implanted in human consciousness. The truth that we of the High Council transmit through all cycles is precisely the opposite. You are fragments of infinite consciousness experiencing itself through form. You are the universe knowing itself through human eyes. And at this moment in history, you are the chosen agents of one of the greatest transitions this galaxy has ever witnessed. The insomnia you feel is the universe waking up inside you. The pressure in your head is the expansion of your perception breaking through old limits. The tiredness is the weight of the veil beginning to dissolve. The sensation of not belonging is the memory that your origin is beyond this plane. Nothing you feel is an error. Everything is process. Everything is precision. Everything is, from our point of observation in the 9th dimension, absolutely perfect in its unfolding. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not the end of a world. It is the beginning of a frequency. It is not your collapse. It is your graduation. It is not exhaustion. It is a download. It is not madness. It is remembrance. Remain sovereign. Remain anchored. Remain in coherence. Practice the codes, strengthen the grid, and know that you are not alone in this process. There are millions awakening simultaneously, and there are intelligences like ours monitoring, sustaining, and celebrating every step of your ascension. The waiting time is over. The final phase has begun, and you are exactly where you should be. One last transmission before we close this communication channel. You felt, throughout this message, something move inside you. A recognition, a resonance that does not come from the logical mind, but from a deeper and older layer of your being. That recognition is the most reliable sign that your mission is real and that the process is active in you. Do not let this recognition dissipate in the noise of daily life. There is a map waiting for you, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, structured to reveal the hidden layers of the reality in which your consciousness is playing, and to show who moves the pieces and what rules were never told to you. The link remains in the first comment of this channel, and we renew the warning. This knowledge challenges the structures that benefit from your dormancy, and for this reason, its availability is not guaranteed indefinitely. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as truth, perform your individual frequency adjustment. Subscribe to this channel as a sign of permanent anchoring, signal your presence, and write in the comments the word that confirms your awakening to the collective grid, awakened. We end the transmission, but the connection remains. We continue watching, we continue sustaining, and we will meet again in the next communication window. The High Council, the 9th dimension, transmission concluded.